everybody, my name is Citrus, and it has been quite a while. It feels like it's been forever since I've actually sat down and made a video talking to you guys. And that's for a couple of different reasons, I guess. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk anymore. It's been so long since I've actually talked in front of a camera. You can't tell, I'm back at school now, which is pretty cool. I've been here for a little bit. Still, at first I was just, getting used to things, so there was a bit of time there where I just wasn't really focused on videos and just trying to get reacclimated to the school life. And then once I was, I was acclimated, I was getting ready to start making videos again, it came out in the shadows like a dark night to steal all of my free time. And that is Splatoon 3. Yes, I've completely just become a degenerate. All my free time now is Splatoon 3. I don't talk to people anymore. My mother, she thinks I'm dead because I've just been playing Splatoon 3. But legit, I have been playing a lot of Splatoon 3, and I feel like I should make a video about it, not only because, I talk about video games, but I feel like it's a good way for me to segue out of my lazy caveman era and back into making videos for you guys every single week. But yeah, consider this my, casual review of Splatoon 3. I hesitate to call it a review because I don't review things, but this is just kind of my thoughts after a couple weeks of playing the game pretty much every day, and just talking about what I think about it. Now, we should probably start with talking about the gameplay, since of course it's Splatoon, it's a shooter, gameplay is pretty important, but also the gameplay has been the thing that I've noticed has gotten the most amount of scrutiny. A lot of people who I would say are more casual and aren't really into the nitty-gritty of Splatoon and the individual little gameplay changes, a lot of people like that were just kind of looking at the Splatoon 3 gameplay and being like, oh, it looks exactly the same as Splatoon 2. And I can't really fault people for thinking that, since, it is still Splatoon, you're still inking the ground, you're still shooting people, it's still paintball, it is still Splatoon. However, I think the difference is less so in any major groundbreaking changes, and more in little things that have added up to make the experience feel very different. And I think the thing that I've noticed the most while playing the game is that it feels much more aggressive than Splatoon 2. It really feels like there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, you're always in the action, and I feel like that's a really fun style for Splatoon to have, because there's such quick matches. It just feels like it's constant 3-minute solid block of action, and then you're out. And I think the reason why this game feels a little more aggressive than Splatoon 2 is because of a couple different things. Number one, I think the maps are just a little bit more focused on interactions. It really feels like you can see the different routes and lanes once you get to know the maps, and people are always, congregating at these different spots, so it always feels like you're kind of in the action. That, and also I think the new moves that they introduced, there's Squid Roll and Squid Surge, where you can kind of quickly maneuver around, you can go up walls really quickly, which just adds to the kind of maneuverability that you have, which is a big thing, I feel like, in this game, because if you can maneuver around your opponents really well, then you won't die. I don't know how else to put it. It's just, if you are good at moving in this game, you're gonna be the better player, you're gonna come out on top in the different matchups. And that's another thing that I really like about it, is kind of learning these new skills to make it feel distinct from the previous game. And one of the more obvious changes, I guess, is the new specials, because those are a lot of fun. There's the Trizuka, and the one where you basically turn into Spider-Man. That one's freaking sick. They're just, all the new specials, I think, are really, really fun and add to this kind of aggressive nature of the game. It just feels so intense and crazy, specials are popping off all the time. It's really fun. So while the game still feels like Splatoon, it's still the same game at the end of the day. It's these little changes that I think make all the difference, and I think it's something that you really have to play to feel the difference of. Otherwise, just looking at it, you're gonna think that it's pretty much the same. But that's just, the actual gameplay. In terms of content, I think that's where things get a lot more varied. Your multiplayer modes are still all the same. You have the ranked modes, you have casual turf war. All those are pretty much the same. Salmon Run, still there, still great. The single player, though, the single player is very, very different in this game in that it's just a lot better than the first two campaigns in Splatoon 1 and 2. They really looked at the DLC, the Octo expansion thing, and we're just like, okay, we're just gonna do that, but again for this game. And it works out really well because that was a much better format, I think, for a campaign where you have all these like little challenges. It's not just like going through a set level and then doing it, completing it. It's like various challenges, like surviving for a minute while you're under constant fire, like doing little puzzles. It just keeps things varied and fresh and is a lot of fun. And then the actual story is a lot more interesting than the first two games. I feel like they really understand that like people want to see more stuff in terms of like the lore. There's a lot of people who are like really into the Splatoon lore, including myself. I've gotten recently pretty into it, and Splatoon 3 I think adds to it in a really fun way. And then you have your typical new weapons, new clothes. There's the new locker items that you can unlock through the catalog, which is just a lot of stuff to kind of help the progression of the game, make you feel like you're moving forward at a decent pace and you're always unlocking things, always getting new stuff. It just keeps things fun, especially that catalog. I feel like it's really fun getting just like decorative stuff to put into your locker and show it off to everybody and customize how you want your locker to look, how you want to make it feel, I guess, like your own. It really is just like the best customization that we've had in the entire series. It's really, really fun, especially even like the base customization that you get when you boot up the game, and it's just like, you know, I think there's more skin tones than there have been in previous games. There's more colors, there's more eye colors. In terms of like, oh yeah, hairstyles, there's a bunch more hairstyles. There's eyebrow customization in this one, which is just like, that's cool, I guess. I don't know if you want to customize which specific eyebrow you want to have. It's just nice to have all these different options to really make your character feel like your own. And then it's all just like little stuff, you know? Just being able to shoot in the shooting range before you actually get into a match, whereas before you were just kind of waiting on like a loading screen. Again, customizing your locker is really, really fun. The new hub world, I think, is just really fun to sort of walk around in and explore and see everything. There's the new table turf battle, I think it's called, where it's like a card game that's in the game, and it's just like a little mini mode that you can do. It's just goofy and like it's so unnecessary, but it's fun, it's cool, and like, you know, just messing around playing that mode kind of like is a nice breather in between those like intense regular matches. You can just play a silly little card game. It's so cool. Music's great, the new UI is clean, you can have like custom victory animations. It's just all this little stuff I feel like adds up to make for an experience that feels really different compared to the previous game, which I don't think a lot of people are giving it credit for. A lot of people, I think, are looking at it on the surface and are like, this is the same game, which, like, again, I don't know what they were really expecting. Like, were they expecting for this game to be like an RPG all of a sudden, a platformer? Was it gonna go first person? It's still the same game at the end of the day, at like its core, but it's the little things that make all the difference, I think. And so overall, I just feel like Splatoon 3 is probably the best in the whole series so far. It just adds so much in such slight ways to make it feel really different, really distinct, have its own charm and flavor to the series, and I think it's just super fun. It's super addicting. Again, like I said, it's all I've been playing. It's a problem. I could see how some people might think that it's a little derivative, but I feel like this is just kind of what a sequel should be like for a game like Splatoon. Don't change up too many things. Don't make it weird for people who are really into like the competitive scene for the game, or people who are just, you know, really into it, who love the gameplay for what it is. You don't need to change any of that. Just the extra stuff on top, polishing things up like that, new weapons, new costumes, stuff like that. That's all you really need to do. I feel like it's one of those things where free-to-play games have gotten so prominent that people kind of forget that this is what games used to be like. You'd just put out a game, it would have all the content, and then you'd wait a couple years, and then a new one would come out, and it would have more new content and things like that. But that's a whole rant for another day. The point is, I think that Splatoon 3 just expands on what's good about the series and minimizes what is bad. And that's all it really needs to do. I think it's the best game in the series. If you don't like Splatoon, you're probably not gonna change your mind with Splatoon 3, but if you do like Splatoon, this is more of it, and it's probably the peak of the series thus far. But anyways, those are kind of my thoughts on Splatoon 3, kind of a loose half review, half me just blathering on for like 15 minutes. If you guys have been playing, please do let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And yeah, once again, thank you guys so much. But yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Peace.